Adventures of the Wishing Chair by Enid Blyton. The Strange Old Shop. The adventures really began on the day that Molly and Peter went out to buy a present for their mother's birthday. They emptied the money out of their money box and counted it.
Now what shall we buy, Mother?
Said Molly.
Mother likes old things. If we could find an old shop somewhere, full of old things, she would love an old tea caddy, I'm sure, or an old vase.
All right, we'll go and find one of those shops. Come on, Molly.
Off they went and ran into the town. The children left the main street and went down a little turning. There were more shops there, but still not the one they wanted. So on they went and came to a small, narrow street whose houses were so close that there was hardly any light in the road. And there, tucked away in the middle, was the shop with Antiques printed on a label inside the dirty window.
Good,
Said Peter.
Here is a shop that sells old things. Molly, do you see that strange little vase with swans set all round it? I'm sure Mother would like that. We could buy some flowers to put in it.
So into the old dark shop they went. It was so dark that the children stumbled over some piled-up rugs on the floor. Nobody seemed to be about. Peter went to the counter and rapped on it. A tiny door at the back opened, and out came the strangest little man, no higher than the counter top. He had pointed ears like a pixie. The children stared at him in surprise. He looked very cross and miserable.
We want to buy the vase with swans round it,
said Peter. Muttering and grumbling to himself, the little chap picked up the vase and pushed it across the counter. Peter put down the money.
Can I have some paper to wrap the vase in, please? You see, it's for my mother's birthday, and I don't want her to see me carrying it home.
Grumbling away to himself, the little man went to a pile of boxes at the back of the shop and began to open one to look for a piece of paper. The children watched. To their enormous surprise, a large black cat with golden eyes jumped out of the box and began to spit and snarl at the little man. He smacked it and put it back again. He opened another box. Out of that came a great wreath of green smoke that wound about the shop and smelt strange. The little man caught hold of it as if it were a ribbon and tried to stuff it back into the box again, but it broke off and went wandering away. How he stamped and raged. The children felt quite frightened.
We'd better go without the paper,
whispered Molly to Peter. But just then, another extraordinary thing happened. Out of the next box came a crowd of blue butterflies. They flew into the air, and the little man shouted with rage again. He darted to the door and shut it, afraid that the butterflies would escape. To the children's horror, they saw him lock the door too, and put the key into his pocket. Molly was frightened.
We can't get out till he lets us go. Oh dear, why did we ever come here? I'm sure that little man is a gnome or something.
The little fellow opened another box and, hey presto, out jumped a red fox. It gave a short bark and began to run about the shop, its nose to the ground. The children were half afraid of being bitten, and they both sat in an old chair together, their legs drawn up off the ground out of the way of the fox. It was the most curious shop they'd ever been in. Why were they keeping all those peculiar things in boxes? Really, there must be magic about somewhere. It couldn't be a proper shop. The children noticed a little stairway leading off the shop about the middle, and suddenly at the top of this, there appeared somebody else. It was somebody tall and thin, with such a long beard that it swept the ground. On his head was a pointed hat that made him seem taller still. Molly whispered,
Look, Peter, doesn't he look like a wizard?
Keep it! What you doing down there?
cried the newcomer in a strange, deep voice like the rumbling of faraway thunder.
Then Pt1, how dare you open those boxes? You've let out the butterflies and the foxes and the black cat.
He stamped down the stairs and then saw the children. He stared at them.
Who are you?
We wanted to buy this vase,
said Peter, frightened. The tall man twisted his beard into a knot, tied it under his chin, and said,
Well, seeing you are here, you can help Pt1 to catch the fox. Come on, come on.
I don't want to,
said Molly.
He might bite me. Unlock the door and let us go out.
Not till the fox and all the butterflies are caught and put in their boxes again,
said the tall man.
Oh dear,
said Peter, making no movement to get out of the chair in which he and Molly were still sitting with their legs drawn up. And then the most extraordinary thing of all happened. The chair they were sitting in began to creak and groan, and suddenly it rose up into the air with the two children in it. They held tight, wondering what was happening. It flew to the door, but that was shut. It flew to the window, but that was shut too. Meanwhile, the wizard and Tippet were running after it, crying in rage.
How dare you use our wishing chair? Wish it back! Wish it back!
But Peter cried out,
I shan't! Go on, wishing chair, take us home!
The chair, finding that it could not get out of the door or the window, flew up the little stairway. It flew to the window there, which was open, and immediately rose very high indeed, far above the housetops, and flew towards the children's home. How surprised they were, and how tightly they clung to the arms. It would be terrible to fall. Peter said,
I say, Molly, can you hear a flapping noise? Has the chair got wings anywhere?
Molly peeped cautiously over the edge of the chair and said,
Yes, it has a little red wing growing out the side of each leg, and they make the flapping noise. How peculiar!
The chair began to fly downwards. The children saw that they were just over the garden.
Go to our playroom, chair,
said Peter quickly. The chair went to a big shed at the bottom of the garden. Inside was a playroom for the children, and here they kept all their toys and books and could play any game they liked. The chair flew in at the open door and came to rest on the floor. The children jumped off and looked at one another.
The first real adventure we've ever had in our lives,
said Molly in delight.
Oh, Peter, to think we've got a magic chair, a wishing chair.
Well, it isn't really ours. Perhaps we had better send it back to the shop.
Molly sounded very sad.
I suppose we had. It would be so lovely if we could keep it, though.
Go back to your shop, chair,
commanded Peter. The chair didn't move an inch. Peter repeated the command.
Go back to your shop, chair.
Still the chair wouldn't move. And suddenly the children noticed that its little red wings had gone from the legs. It looked just an ordinary chair now. Peter cried out in surprise.
Look, Molly, the chair hasn't any wings. It can't fly. I expect it is only when it grows wings that it can fly. It must just have grown them when we were sitting in it in the shop. What luck for us!
Peter, let's wait till the chair has grown wings again. Then get in it and see where it goes.
Peter was doubtful.
Well, it might take us anywhere. Still, we've always wanted adventures, Molly, haven't we? So we'll try. The very next time our wishing chair grows wings, we'll sit in it and fly off again.
Molly was delighted and said,
I hope it will be tomorrow.